and welcome to this edition of the Edge Marketing Minute podcast. My name is Peter DeWitt, and with me today I have Chad van der Valk. And Chad is the owner of Purpose Pivot, Branding and Strategy. Welcome, Chad.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
So today we're going to talk about something that's near to my heart, and that's marketing strategy and a little bit of strategy in general. I think a lot of small business owners, when it comes to their marketing, they don't always have a plan. So we're really good. We're people of action. We want to jump into things right away, and we don't always make a good plan of actually what we should be doing in marketing. So that's I see that problem a lot with some of our clients. So around the office here, we say strategy before tactics, and we really believe in that, and we really work with our clients on some of those things. So. Before we get started, Chad, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up as being the principal owner of Purpose Pivot?
Long story or short story? I'll give you the short story.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of different training in leadership, brand development, those kinds of pieces. So I've done an executive master's in change leadership and brand management certificate. And really what I'm interested in is helping businesses identify the best parts of their business. What is it that they do from a core perspective? And then how do they implement that throughout all that they do? So I'm really focused on branding and then business strategy on top of that. But this really feeds into that marketing piece, right? Like, how do you tell people about who you are and where do you do so? And how do you reach the people that you want to? Those kinds of things. Excellent. So it's really about trying to help businesses really identify and share the good that they do.
Okay, awesome. I think we have a lot in common. So that's really love to hear more about that. So, let's just jump in some questions that our listeners may have about their marketing strategy. So, what's the point of having a marketing strategy in your opinion? Why don't we just go and do things? Go on social media, do paid advertising on Google. Why would we pause and actually have a plan before we jump in?
Yeah. So the short answer would be because you don't want to waste money, right? Like that's kind of your short answer. Or time, right? There's a lot of times in which, so like myself, I just started Purpose Pivot last December, basically. Okay. Actually started in January.
Okay.
And so I'm doing a lot of free kinds of stuff. So you're building up some social media presence, those kinds of pieces. Yeah. But it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
It does.
Which is fine. I don't have a whole lot of clients at the moment anyway, so it's not that big a deal. I got the extra time. So that's the
chat is available.
Yeah, exactly. Also, yeah. But on top of that, there's a piece in which, like, for you to figure out where your clients are, what times they're available, what kinds of messages will resonate with them, how does this land particularly? These are all questions that kind of answer the why you would be doing something anyway, right? Okay. So like if someone comes to you and says, oh yeah, we should be doing Facebook ads or we should be doing Google ads or whatever. And the question would be like, well, why? Yeah, exactly. What is your intention? Who are you trying to reach here? What is this all about? Are you just doing it because you heard that's like the next best thing? Exactly. Or is there a particular reason why your clients would be there at that time?
Yeah, exactly.
And so having that kind of strategy helps you identify what those pieces are. Okay. And it's a little deeper, I think, than a plan. But we can talk about that in a bit too. But.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that more. Right. So you have your marketing strategy. So, I've seen a lot of small businesses writing big marketing plans, 50 pages, and they spend actually a lot of time and energy on this, but then they never look at it again, right? Yeah. So how is a marketing strategy different from just looking at what my competitors are doing?
Yeah, so imitation helps, right? You can learn a lot about what might be working from a competitor that is doing well, and you can see kind of what's happening. There's a lot of tools nowadays, actually, that help you kind of clarify what somebody else is doing well and where it's landing. And that can be helpful. The downside of copying or of imitating is that you don't differentiate yourself well. And one of the pieces for me particularly as a branding strategist is to think about, well, how are you different from the others that are around you, right? Exactly. What is your clear differentiation? And once you kind of have that idea, then you can kind of put together, and this is where I said earlier, a strategy is a little different than a plan, because your plan should be something that's like, okay, Tuesday we're going to post on Facebook at 4:00, and this is what we're going to do, right?
So your plan is more like your action plan.
Yep. Yeah, it should look like a checklist, right? Your plan should look like a
Exactly.
checklist.
Exactly.
A strategy document should be more about, well, where kind of do we want to play? Who are the people that we are trying to reach? Where are they
Yeah.
regularly? So if you're a direct to consumer company and your people are often on Facebook, well then, yeah, ads at Facebook at a time when they're going to be on there would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
If you're a business to business person, well then maybe playing more on LinkedIn, right? And so your strategy is figuring out who your clients are that you want to reach, where to kind of get them, what your differentiations are. So what makes you different from the others that are around.
Okay.
And a lot of that kind of stuff you have to do yourself, right? Can't really imitate.
Okay, yeah. Like what I see with a lot of our clients is that they completely abdicate their marketing strategy. So again, we're here to help to develop strategy for people, but at the same token, I think a lot of small business owners could probably pay more attention to actually where they want to take their company, right? Because nobody else, even a consultant like yourself, doesn't necessarily know where they want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things, particularly as I'm starting, one of my differentiators is done with you kind of work, right? So often it takes time to develop and to understand what is it that you're trying to do? What is the impact you're hoping to create, right? So the name of my company is Purpose Pivot. What I believe is that every company or every business or every organization, its purpose is to do good in the world in some way, shape, or form. So
that goes a lot deeper than just growing my business or making more money. Actually, what is the purpose of it all? So tell us a little bit more about what your thoughts are around that.
So for me, there's a sense in which like everybody should be creating an impact in some way, shape, or form. I don't remember where I heard this. I know that the guy had an accent, so I do remember that it's not North American.
It wasn't me, was it?
No, it wasn't you. But it was he essentially said the purpose of a business is to solve a problem for somebody without causing other problems.
Okay, that's an interesting definition.
Yeah, and that really stuck because particularly as a Christian, right? I was a pastor for 16 years before I translated into this, and one of those pieces is to do good work in the world, right? That's what I believe that we are called to do. But I think everybody is that way. And there's a lot of research, particularly over the last 15, 20 years, that has proven when that's your focus, your business actually succeeds better. So you have better client retention, better employee retention. You can handle recessions better. And so it's better for your business. Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, no, I think like the purpose of and the why behind the business is especially nowadays with all the noise and all there's so many choices for anybody to choose from. So the people like to deal with people that or businesses even that have a bigger purpose, I think, and bigger why they're doing what they're doing. So that's really interesting. So okay, I didn't realize that. So
and there's a lot. Simon Sinek's book, right? Start with Why. That's one of the biggest YouTube videos or one of the biggest TED Talks that's ever been out there, actually. One of the downsides of so sometimes that can be kind of navel gazing, right? Okay. So you sit down with a founder or even a current person and they go through, well, why did we create this business in the first place? Well, there's all kinds of reasons why people create businesses, right? But that's not necessarily the impact they're hoping to create. And so for me, if you can identify what impact you hope to make in the world, and then you embed that through all the other kinds of pieces within your business, including your branding and marketing, right? That can feed the places and the ways that you want to interact with people. That will shape your messaging. Because hopefully it'll tell you what to avoid. As well as where you should talk and the ways you should say things.
Well, that's very interesting. I think a lot of businesses are started for all kinds of different reasons, like you just mentioned. And let's be honest, like I started a few companies myself, and when I was in the process of setting things up, I didn't always think about the bigger purpose. It was basically a survival mode.
Right. Here's something I can sell, something I can do. Someone will pay me for it, so then I can do something.
Yeah, and we were hungry, but we believed in something. We believed that we could solve a problem, and we were passionate enough about it to actually do it. Because if I look back now, some of my startups were really around areas that I really truly care about. Like one of the things I truly care about is having small business owners be more successful. And why? Well, because then they can support the community. And why is that important? well, they can, community will flourish, their families will flourish, they have healthy lives. So it's a lot deeper. What you're telling me,
Yep.
all of the things why we do certain things have a deeper meaning. So I really like that. I think, and telling that story to other people will also help them resonate with you on a personal level, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the ways that you can make a real connection. And then a business becomes more of a personality, right?
Yes.
When you think of your big brands, like they do a lot of advertising. So like Nike and Red Bull and these other kinds of things.
Oh, huge, right?
Yeah, but they don't advertise their products.
No, they don't. No, exactly.
Right? Like you don't see, I mean, Red Bull, I don't think the last time I've actually seen a Red Bull can on their products, right?
It's probably,
like on their advertising.
Yeah.
It's all the big events, or it's an adventurous lifestyle that they're trying to connect. And they're trying to, feed or help to develop that for people, right? They can go and do stuff.
No, and that's very true. And then the one flip side of that, though, I believe, is like Red Bull, their advertising budget is in the billions.
Yes.
I think it's 3 or 4 billion.
Yeah.
And they're making, of course, revenues of 15 to 20 billion. I don't know what it is these days. But so I think when I talk to our clients, like our tribe is small business owners. They just don't have that kind of money behind them.
Yeah.
So in some ways, they have to be more creative and more focused almost to really attract the right clients and then cater to those clients. So so just for the listeners, like what are some of the elements that are part of a marketing strategy? I know you do bigger strategies, organizational strategies, but let's focus on marketing. What are the basic building blocks of a marketing strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I think a good marketing strategy develops out of a good brand strategy. Okay. Right. And so when you have your kind of positioning statement, this is who we are as a company or as a brand.
Okay.
This is what we do for people. This is how we solve a problem for a particular person. This what makes us different from others.
Right. And that's your positioning, correct?
Yeah. So that would be a positioning statement. There's kind of, when you think about a brand, you can actually use, there's an acronym for brand. So it's when you're trying to create a brand that stands out, it's something that's brave. So it actually makes a statement in some way, shape, or form. It stands for something. Mm-hmm. It's relevant, so it connects with people in a way that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's relevant to my life.
Right.
I'm going to forget some of these now. Adaptable, so you're able to shift to stuff as you move through, and so you're able to pivot in certain ways. Mm-hmm. Stay true to a brand. It's new or novel, so it's something that people haven't really seen before, and then it's distinct, right? So those are kind of criteria in terms of what a
very
brand
interesting
looks like.
acronym. Yeah, I love acronyms. Easy to remember, right?
Yeah, so, except for I forgot some of them, but that's
okay.
But then on top of that, you take those and then you talk about, okay, so to market, you got to think about, so if this is who we are, and generally you have a pretty good idea of who you're going to serve, but to fill out a marketing strategy, you would think about, okay, well, who are my ideal clients, right? 1, 2, or 3, you try to create an avatar, which talks about, some of your demographics. What age are they? Where do they work? How many kids do they have, if they have kids or not?
Exactly.
What kinds of income would they have? So how much disposable income would they have?
Yeah, I think that's so important, right? To really narrow down. But I know from personal experience, that's extremely difficult, especially if you're just starting your business.
Yes.
When you start your business, you believe everybody's your client, right? And that's the number one mistake that I've made in the past. But as you get more experience and your business grows and flourishes, then now you can actually be a bit more picky in some ways. And let's face it, like your ideal clients are actually the people that you can help the best, right? Yeah. So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
If you attract the wrong clients, not only is it frustrating maybe for your team and for yourself to work with these clients because they're just not a good fit, but on the other side as well, they're not getting the best that they could possibly get because there's a bit of a misfit there. So when I explain, like I love your definition of a marketing strategy. When I explain it in very simple terms, it's exactly like that, right? Like, who's your ideal client? Who do we serve, right? Then what is the message that would resonate with those clients? What is the language they're using? How can we explain the problem that they're experiencing, the pain they're experiencing, the emotional appeal? How can we put it into words? And then the third leg of that is like, which channels should we use? Yeah. And that's where a lot of business owners, I think, get it wrong. They jump to that third stage with the channels, and the salespeople come by, the digital marketing guy talks to them, the radio person talks to them, all these different options that they have. It's very confusing to them, right? So they basically more often than not, I see a marketing strategy that's not optimized for really, making the best of their limited resources.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, they only have maybe $1,500 a month to advertise their business. So
yeah, that's the spray and pray model, right? You kind of put your message out as many places as you possibly can, and you pray that it connects with somebody.
Exactly, right.
But yeah, that's not the best way to optimize.
No, for sure, right? So then being very practical. So like if a small business owner wants to get better at this strategy and come up with a plan, eventually like an action plan. I really like that concept, because you're actually now, instead of just saying you're going to do things, you actually have a 3-month plan. You actually and responsibilities, right? Like Chad's going to do this, and Peter's going to do this. So more likely than not, those things will get done. So that's very powerful. So how does it work if we hire somebody like yourself, or like even an agency like Edge? What does the business owner actually, how are they involved in setting the strategy? Because they know the most about their business, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So how do you go? Can you tell us a little bit about what the process is and how you look at that?
Yeah. So for me, because I'm thinking more about branding and implementation across all of the different aspects, so not just marketing. But for me, it's really about, so I'll sit down and I'll have 1 or 2 conversations at least at the very beginning to talk about some of those fundamentals, like who is it, who are you, who do you serve, what are the places that you engage, what has been working well, what are the pain points that you're experiencing, and then trying to get to that idea of like, okay, what problem do you solve? And I like how you put that earlier, right? Like, well, why does that matter? Why does that matter? It's one of the techniques I use quite often. It's like, you ask that at least 3 times, right? It's like,
you've tried it out on me?
Yeah, I have. I have done it to you too. Yeah, because there's a particular function that we serve in a certain way, right? So like a sign company might sell a sign. So the problem you solve is you create a sign for somebody, right? Or you put ads out, or you build a website for somebody. It's like, okay, but what's the purpose of the website, or what's the purpose of the sign, right? And so you ask that a little bit deeper. Why does that matter? Well, I need a website because I need to connect with somebody. Someone needs a place to find me, right? Yeah. And I think nowadays pretty much everybody needs a website, but the importance of what that looks like is going to be very different on what they need that for, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're first trying to figure out what is it you're trying to do with your particular business, and then how are those things misaligned maybe? So what are you doing now? What are the pieces that we may need to shift and change?
Exactly.
And then work through different pieces. So for me, I do quite a few touch-ins as we go along.
Okay, cool. Because let's face it, like sometimes people are doing a lot of things right.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's a misconception in the marketing industry. Yeah. Like, and a complaint I hear from clients to say, the people we talk to in the marketing business always tell us to do more. Right, and that's that may be well intentioned, but that's actually not always what they need to hear. Right, so. If you can be real about it and say, hey, like let's just focus on the instead of on the negative, the things we don't do. What are you actually doing well?
Yes.
How can we do more of that? And then in addition to that, baby steps, right? Not everything at once. What are some of the other low-hanging fruits that we can implement for you? I just came out of a meeting with a client, and they have been around probably for 30 years. They have a massive list, but they just never reach out to their list through SMS or email. So what a missed opportunity, right? So even simple tweaks like that could have pay big dividends. So
Yeah. And so you figure out how to kind of optimize on the things that are working well. And then you also do some research. So I'll try to do quite a bit of research around who are your competitors? What are they doing? What are their positioning? What does their positioning look like? How can you make yourself stand out in certain ways? What are some opportunities that maybe others aren't landing on, so that you can say, wow, we're a little bit different, and this is how we solve this problem. And you don't have to say necessarily like, oh, we're better than them because they're bad. Right?
Well, no, that's exactly right. Like, and I think a lot of the advertising that I see is about like we're better. We have better service. We have better prices. Well, let's face it, people just expect good service. They expect good pricing. But that's not really what their main problem is, right?
No.
So, and that's again, if you can create that value, then pricing is less of an issue. And then in my opinion, from my experience from the businesses that I've been involved in, if you're the lowest cost provider of anything, you're in a very vulnerable position because there's always somebody going to be cheaper than you. So it's just about, so what I was explaining to this client this afternoon is your investment in marketing should pay dividends. And once we can show, our job is to show you the dividends. And when we can make that connection between the two, now all of a sudden it's not so scary to actually invest in your marketing, right? So, yeah. So if you so you have a marketing strategy in place, right? How often do you look at those kind of things? Is that something that you do once every 5 years? Is it something you write this big report and then you put it in a drawer and never look at it again? What is your recommendation?
So one of the pieces is to keep it simple. So don't write a big report, right?
Okay,
That's one of the biggest pieces for me, at least. It's kind of try to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Clear and simple, like 10 pages is probably good.
Yeah.
Right. Because then you have a grasp, you can get some understanding, and there should be like a 1-page summary that
exactly. The one-page marketing plan. That's really something that I really believe in.
Yep.
And one of the examples from history is actually the invasion of Normandy, the biggest military operation ever in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And the plan of the invasion was by General Montgomery. He demanded from his staff to have the plan on one page, so he could actually explain it to the 40 or 50,000 people that were involved in that operation. Yeah. So I'm totally in agreement with that, and I see a lot of plans in general about strategy, mission, vision, all these things end up in a drawer somewhere, never be looked at again, right? So do you have a recommendation for how many times, or is it just kind of like an organic living document that you should review on a regular basis?
At least yearly.
Okay.
Your kind of brand strategy, which includes your marketing strategy, that kind of piece, you should review it at least yearly. I would say your marketing plan, so when you're thinking about, so you've got your strategy, that shouldn't really adjust all that much, because there should be, like, this is a general kind of way or a direction where we're trying to get things, and then you're planning based on that. Into different areas, and that plan should probably be reviewed at least quarterly.
Okay.
Right. So then when you kind of look through your quarter and you think about, well, these are the revenues we had, this is how it looked like, look through a dashboard in terms of like, wow, how have we been doing? We've been spending this kind of money in this particular space, and we've been getting this many new clients here. Okay, that's awesome. Is there ways we can tweak that, move that different? Do we need to go somewhere else because our audience suddenly shifted their use, right? Because some of these places, right, like people might be on one social media platform, within a few months they might be on another one.
Well, exactly, right? And then we don't know what the future holds, right? And the technology world changes very rapidly, right? Now with AI and some of those things coming full stream, we don't know exactly what the world will look like in 6 months, right? And that's it seems like that cycle of planning and then actually implementing a plan, because that's the biggest hurdle, I think, for a lot of people. Okay, now they have a plan, they have a solid strategy, but now they have to act on that strategy, right? And I know from personal experience, that's a huge hurdle. Any recommendations how you can get past that, like that analysis paralysis almost?
To do it. I mean,
I know, right? That's easier said than done, right? But you go like deep down, you go like how do you actually make people do it? Because I think for you as a consultant, that's probably your biggest going to be your biggest frustration is you have solid research, you have solid strategy, but now how can you actually make people do things? Like in our world, we're actually we do done for you marketing concept, right? And including our CRM, our managed CRM. That's kind of our clients really want us to actually say, hey, like we have this great strategy now, but we want you to implement it, and we're okay with that. And we think that's, in some cases, that's actually a pretty good way of doing it, right? To have somebody from outside the organization even holding you accountable, and I think you can really play that role as well. So
So one of the pieces that I do is generally with what I try to package is, so there's the strategy as well as the development and the plan, and then I try to have at least kind of a month or so, which includes a number of connections with leadership that is in implementation. So that helps me to kind of like as almost a coach to help keep them on track. Okay, you've committed to this. Did you do it? No. Why not? Exactly. What's going to be next in this? Do you need to adjust how this works?
Exactly. And there's huge value in there, because the people we deal with as well, they're successful business owners. They build 10, 20, $30 million companies, so they must have done something right. And that's what I always like to go back to, is say, hey, because it's frustrating for them to hear you need to do more, you need to do all these things, right? Instead, we approach it like you've built a really successful business, so don't worry so much about what you don't do. Focus on what you do well, and then have somebody else help you. So I think the best position to be in for people talking to us is when they realize this, that they can only grow the company to a certain point.
Yep.
And they need to have somebody they can trust and that can guide them through it and keep them accountable. And just the fact that you would phone me and say, "Hey, Peter, we got to get moving on this. So why didn't you do that?" Well, actually, no, honestly, right?
Yep.
We're all wired like that. So so our audience is, small, medium-sized businesses, not huge companies with with huge advertising budgets or marketing budgets or marketing teams even. Like most of our clients don't necessarily have a marketing person on staff.
Yep.
So what would be one actionable piece of advice that you would give to them? Like how can they get started on their own? Is there anything that you can kind of hand to them?
Well, one is hire you, right? That's
an option.
That's one option. The main pieces within it are like you really have three options, right? You either do it yourself, you hire someone to do it, or you get someone outside of your organization to do it, right? Those are really that's where you're at.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is if you're a creative person and you're interested in doing that kind of thing, right? Like I'm kind of a creative person, love doing that kind of work.
I know, but plus you have the background, right? Like a lot of our clients don't.
Yeah. So I love to learn. I love to do the design of stuff. I love to learn how to do video and how to edit and those kinds of pieces. Lots of people don't. And so they're not willing to spend the extra effort to do that in order to learn that kind of thing, right? So then you can hire somebody to do those kinds of pieces and have them on staff, or have someone in your staff that wants to kind of play around and do those kinds of pieces. And that's good too, right? For me, it's more about having that core messaging, right? So having your brand positioning, who you really are, and knowing that like deep in your soul so that you can have all of your employees and everybody else on board.
Exactly.
And I think like some of your best marketing actually happens from your frontline staff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Like it's not even online. It's not these other kinds of pieces.
No.
It's when someone comes to you, like talk about a hot lead, they're in there, they want to buy something. Having those people know what you stand for, how you can help that person, and really on board with actually helping that person, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. It's a fulfillment that's oftentimes needs to be looked at as well. And that's an ongoing aspect. And that's not necessarily marketing related, but that's, of course, what comes after marketing. Well, it's fulfillment, right? So the better we get at fulfillment, that does play a role in marketing as well, because that's referrals, that's repeat business.
Exactly.
Which is an area that we'll speak about in a future episode. I think the making more of the people from your tribe already, like people already know, like, and trust you, can be a huge eye opener for a lot of people, because it's a lot more effective. Those people already know you, they trust you, and trust is going to be the asset that's going to be even more valuable, I think, in the technology world. One thing in marketing has never changed. People still buy from people. And I think small businesses especially have an advantage over the huge brands, because they're just so large and impersonal in some ways, right? So thank you so much, Chad, for your time. That was very useful, I think. And I like your take, your point of view on strategy. It's holistic, I would call it, right? Not only just chasing the dollars, but there's more to life than just building a successful business, and the making money part is important.
Absolutely.
But what does that allow you to do, right? That making money piece, and that's really important. So I really appreciate that from you. So where can people find you if they want to find more about Chat and Purpose Pivot?
Yeah, so purposepivot.ca is my website. And then I've got, it's Purpose Pivot Branding is my handle on YouTube. There's LinkedIn and Facebook, all those kinds of pieces too.
For sure, yeah. You should not be difficult to find you. So
nope.
Appreciate that. So so I think, again, we covered a lot of ground, but like a strategy is, before you jump into tactic, is really important. So make sure you do that in some kind of a process. Can be very simple. Keep things very simple, right? That's really important.
And know why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. That came through loud and clear. So why we're actually doing this, and I think for a fact that our customers really like to know why we're doing this as well, right? Yeah. So if you can show that we're real, we care, and we do deeply, that really resonates with people like nothing else. So. Thanks again. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to hear more of these. And make sure you put what you learned into practice, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.